Good morning. God bless you. Hope you are well, and I hope this video finds you well. Been thinking about you this week, and I've been praying for you and your leadership, for your congregation, and for the times that we find ourselves in. Any time that we get into uncertain times and we start quoting to one another what we don't know, what we don't understand, what we're not sure of, at some point we have to change our focus from what we don't know to what it is that we do know. From uncertainty to what we are completely and totally convinced of. Focus on the unknown, conversation about the unknown causes us to have fear and anxiety. And when we focus on what we do know and what we are assured of, it creates peace and assurance. I have watched many of the conversations I've had over just the last 7 days lead to either fear or great assurance based on the fact that people are focusing on what they don't know or what they do know. Today, there's much that we do not know. Every day I'm asked questions. Every day this week I've been asked questions, and the only realistic answer is, I don't know. The reality is, I just don't know. But we don't stop on what we don't know. We have to move on to what it is that we're certain of. When you lead, you have to be aware of what you're sure of, and that is going to be reflected in the values that you possess. Look at Proverbs chapter 2, 1 and 2. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. You have to lead by what you are sure of. You have to know what it is that are the values that you possess. The values that you possess are not going to change in this season. The values that you hold right now, they're not going to change because of the things that you don't know. As a matter of fact, the values that you profess are one of those things that you can drop back to because they are still your values even in an unknown time. The second thing is this: when you lead by what you're sure of, you reflect the priorities that you practice. What you spend your time doing is reflected in your priorities. What you spend your time and your energy and your resource and even your conversation, all those things that you focus on, those reflect the priorities that you practice. The things that matter, the things that are consistent in the vision that God has given you for your church, the things that are important to you in your ministry and in your approach, those things are fitting even in the season of the unknown. Don't forget, my friend, to drop back to what it is that you know about vision, that you know about ministry, that you know about approach, that you know about what matters, because those things aren't going to shift around. Your priorities and your practice are going to stay very, very much the same, those priorities that you practice. And the third thing is this: when you lead by what you are sure of, you reflect the principles you practice. For the Lord gives wisdom, and from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Can I remind you that God is speaking during these times, and he's speaking to you. He's speaking to you as a leader. He's speaking to you as a married person, as a single person. God is speaking to you, and from him comes knowledge and understanding. And when my mouth starts to say, I don't know, I need to be reminded of the fact that I can drop back to what I do know, is that God speaks knowledge and he speaks understanding. And in God's knowledge and understanding, the things that we hear, for the Lord gives wisdom from his mouth and knowledge from his understanding, Proverbs 2:6. Are you hearing the wisdom of God? Are you hearing the knowledge of God and the understanding of God during this season? The next thing that we receive is what we do. It reflects what it is that we do. He holds victory in store for the upright. He is a shield for those who walk blameless. The way we walk, the things that we do, we know that we know that we know. We drop back every time to our assurance to the fact that there is victory in store for us and that there is a shield for those who are blameless. It also has an impact when we drop back to what we know about what we decide. Proverbs 2:8 on the decision making. For he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Can I just remind you again that when you drop back to what you know and you hang on to your principles and you hang on to your values, that is something from God's word, that there is a promise that there's going to be protection for us. And the other thing that gets greatly impacted, according to Proverbs 2, verse 9, is what we think. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. Every good path. The way that you think, the way that you talk is immediately reflected back into the things that you know. I have always said and I have always felt in my home and in my marriage and in the ministries that God has allowed me to lead, that in times of confusion, in times where I feel lost on direction, I always drop back to what God has said to me last, because that is the direction I'm still supposed to be following. My friends, I want to remind you, God is speaking, God is talking, God is directing, God is giving us the things that we need. And as we're in a time where there is uncertainty and there is a time of where we're unsure about what's happening around us, let's make sure we drop back to the things that we do know and that we do understand, and let's go from there. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Lead them well, and may this be a weekend that is marked by assuredness, comfort, great leadership, and great principle being taught to our people so that they can stand and stand firm regardless of what the next 7 days hold. God bless you, my friend.